All right. What is going on, everyone? Geez, 61 people on. Some conversations as well. That's awesome. How's everyone doing? Maybe as we get set up here, I'm a little bit early. Why don't those that are already on comment on where you are at? Where do you live? Where are you coming from? What city, what state, what province, what country? Where are you at? Put it in the comments. And we'll give some people UK. What's up, Robert? India. Yep. Hey, Michael. Taiwan. Connecticut. Raleigh. New York. Portland. Vegas, baby. Edinburgh. Used to live in Aberdeen for a small bit. Yeah, good group here. Holy cow. All right. So while everyone's doing that, Vietnam, geez. While everyone's doing that, I want to quickly run through what we already know about the Mach-E. First of all, thanks so much for jumping on this Sunday evening. Super pumped about this Mach-E. Obviously, I don't think I've done this before for any other non-Tesla vehicle. I think I did this after the fact at the Porsche Taycan event, but I'm super excited about the Mach-E, and I want to run through what we know so far. So we've got 5 different variants of the Mach-E that were leaked, supposedly inadvertently, and I'll go through. So top end's going to be the Ford Mach-E GT, starting at $60,000, 500, with a range of 235 miles or 378 kilometers. It's going to have 0 to 60 of about 3.5 seconds, be standard all-wheel drive, charge rate at 150 kilowatts, and be available spring 2021. And then the next variant down from that's going to be called the First Edition, which I think is going to be available for reservation tonight. That'll be have a starting price of just under $60,000 US, a range of 270 miles or 435 kilometers, 0 to 60 of 5.5 seconds, about standard all-wheel drive, same 150 kilowatt charge rate, and available late 2020, so about a year from now. The California Route 1 is going to start at $52,400, have a range of 300 miles or 483 kilometers, 0 to 60 of 6.5 seconds, same charge rate, available early 2021. And then the variant down from that is going to start at $50,600, have a range of 300 miles, same 483 kilometers, 5.5, 0 to 60. You'll have the option to do all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive, and available late 2020. And then lastly, the Select, which is going to come in just under $44,000 US, have a range of 230 miles or 370 kilometers, 0 to 60 of 5.5 seconds. You'll have the option for all-wheel or rear-wheel drive, and available early 2021. So that's what we know so far. That leaked. Getting some text messages here. Let me just silence the computer. So that's what we know so far, and I'm really curious to see what they actually talk about at this product launch this evening. I've got a few questions, and then what I'll probably do is before we wrap up here, I'll probably take maybe 5 or 10 minutes of Q&A. So hang tight on that one. A couple of my questions that I've got that I'm looking for answers. I don't know if I'll get all of the answers this evening, but the first one is, what does their battery pack architecture look like? So how have they designed it? Is it cylindrical cells? Is it prismatic? Is it 2170s? Is it another size of battery cell? All of these things matter because it very much impacts how much range you get, what the degradation is like over the course of ownership, as well as how much you can push this vehicle on the track or at high speeds. All of these things matter, and if they've put some thought into this battery pack architecture, it's going to give me a lot of confidence that this car is going to not only have the range, which I think, in my opinion, when I look at this as a CUV segment, so a compact utility vehicle segment, I think the range is actually pretty good. And you know, for the Cali Route 1 and the premium variants, to get 300 miles or 480 kilometers, is pretty impressive. This is actually going to be, I think this will go toe to toe in terms of price and range with the Model Y. And I'll talk a little bit about the Model Y here in just a moment. So what's the battery architecture going to be like? It's a fundamental part of the car, and that very much matters. What type of batteries are they going to be using? Where are they going to be sourcing these batteries? Is it going to be from LG Chem? Will it be from Panasonic? Will it be from Tesla? I know that's been something that myself and my buddy Gally from Hyperchange have been talking a lot about on record and off record. And I'm very curious to know where these Mach-E batteries are being sourced from. So my suspicion is that it will probably be from a large battery supplier, but we'll wait and see. My next question that I really would love to know, that I doubt that they'll cover on the launch event because they don't want it to be a focus, but did the Rivian investment have any impact on this vehicle, the range, the battery pack? You know, I thought a little bit about this before I went live here. Does Rivian have something special, or is it just they're using these, off-the-shelf battery cells from LG and doing some magic with the coolant? I do think that they've got some proprietary things that they're doing with their battery pack that no other electric vehicle maker is doing. So there is some magic there. I wonder if Ford is taking some of this technology that Rivian has developed in exchange for that financial investment that Ford made earlier this year, and in return getting some of that battery pack technology. So it's really interesting, and I doubt that they'll talk about it, as I said, out on this launch event, but I really want to try and find that out. Like, how is Rivian impacting this, if at all? Maybe not. Maybe Ford has been developing this for a long time. From what I understand, off-record conversations that I've had, I think Ford is quite behind in terms of electric vehicle development, and so that's why I was quite surprised to see some of these ranges with this Ford Mach-E. So one of the next questions that I've got that hopefully they'll address here at this launch event in about 15 minutes is, will the vehicle receive over-the-air software updates? Since Ford is a traditional automaker that has to answer to dealerships, I suspect that it will probably have maybe some over-the-air software updates, but they'll probably want dealerships will probably want these owners to come into the dealership to get any sort of software updates. So it will probably be a lot like what we already know with other vehicles like the Jaguar I-Pace. I know there is limited over-the-air software updates that owners can get, and a lot of updates need to be taken into the dealership, and that's just traditional automakers needing to keep their constituent, the dealership, happy. So I think in addition to that, I'm already curious. I really want to know if if they're going to be developing this software in-house, because I think that is a huge advantage that Tesla has. They're developing the software in-house, and they're able to push out the software updates over the air at will on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. And I think it gives them a huge upper hand. And maybe lastly, we already know that they've got a formal partnership with Electrify America. So I think North America with DC fast charging is going to be covered. I know a lot of people are really critical about non-Tesla fast charging, but they're definitely rolling these out pretty quickly. Can you do a coast-to-coast trip from West Coast to East Coast on Electrify America? I don't think quite yet. There are some pockets that I know that are west of Colorado that are, like Utah, I think, where it's completely blank. The Electrify America has not. I would guess to say that if we're talking about Electrify Canada, there's probably some provinces in the middle of the country that are not covered as well. So it's not a perfect solution, but for traditional automakers, they really seem to be taking this approach that they don't want to make that capital investment into their own proprietary charging network. And to be quite honest, I'm not sure if future electric vehicles will really need that proprietary charging network like Tesla did way back in 2012. In 2012, the landscape of electric vehicles and charging looked quite a bit different. Now we've got two handfuls of really solid electric vehicles and some non-proprietary private companies that are developing charging networks and probably more importantly, especially for long trips, fast charging DC networks. So I think I'm going to go ahead and transition to some questions here. I've been looking at my notes, so I haven't seen any of your comments. Andy Reid, I know. I mean, 350 charging stations is pretty good, but it all depends on what you want to do. Let's keep in mind that most of EV owners driving takes place within a 40, 50 mile radius of home. So you're going to work and back. You're probably not using more than 50 miles. There may be some exceptions, but most people will not need to charge on a daily basis. Now, when you go on a road trip, it's a different story. And I think that's where Tesla really excels. So, all right. So let me see if I can take any of your questions here. I haven't seen any of your comments since I started, so happy to field some questions. If none come in here immediately, I'll scroll up. When is the event starting? It's starting in 10 minutes, and you can go to the YouTube page, Ford's YouTube page. I also saw that it looks like Ford is streaming that via Twitter as well. What are the Mach-E handles like? The door handles? I don't know. The photos that were leaked didn't have any door handles, and I really doubt that they'll follow through with that. It seems to be a little bit too avant-garde for the Ford brand. Will Ford have some type of home charging? They could do something similar to what some of these other automakers are doing, which is partnering together with Amazon to sell a charging solution. Does a Mach-E have a frunk? Probably, I would assume so. Why did Ford not come up with a unique concept name? I don't know. It seems to be pretty on par with with the company. They've been around for over 100 years. Do you believe Ford about their range? That's a really good question, because I actually talked about this in the video that I published on Friday about the Mach-E. I'm cautiously optimistic about the range. I did confirm with their PR that it is EPA range. I'm surprised. I'm surprised that right off the bat, they've got a vehicle that's going to go 300 miles. I think what they said in the screenshots that were taken from their website that were leaked, they said that it was targeted EPA range. So you got to believe that it's going to be somewhere close to 300 miles. Maybe even if it's 290, I think that's still, when you look at the Model Y specs. So the Model Y specs on the high end are going to get 280 miles or 451 kilometers. And as someone mentioned in the comment of this video that I talk about the Mach-E and the Model Y, there is going to be a kind of standard range variant, but I did not add that in. That was my mistake. I overlooked that. So 300 miles for the long range rear wheel drive Model Y. I think this is going to be close enough. And to be quite honest, there's a lot of people, not a lot of people, but I think that there's people who don't want a Tesla. Maybe maybe they think it's a new company or it has a lot of reliability issues, or whether that's true or not, there are people who do have some hesitations with Tesla. So let's see here. All right, so going back to comments, do you think the Mach-E will have any self-driving features? I think it will have some very basic driving assist features. It will probably have, forward collision warnings. It will probably have lane keep. But beyond that, I really do not think that traditional automakers are thinking like Tesla is in terms of autonomy. I could be wrong, but from what I've seen so far, I don't think that is a focus. Even the Porsche Taycan has only the basic driver assist features. I don't believe that they are thinking about the Taycan being an autonomous car. Do you think the specs leak was planned? You know, I don't think so. I think that was a mistake because, since they're doing a really big reveal, they're making a big deal about this reveal tonight. What are you going to talk about if everyone already knows the pricing and the range and the horsepower and the torque? I'd be really curious to know. I'm looking forward to seeing this presentation. Didn't Porsche say that the Taycan would be 300 as well? They said 310, but that was off of the WLTP, which is not as strict as the EPA range. So I think that the Taycan is probably going to come in somewhere around 260 or 270 EPA miles. Where do Ford get its batteries from? And are they the 2170s? That's a question that I've got as well. I don't know if they're going to talk about that on this reveal, but I'm very curious about what their battery architecture looks like. How are they cooling the battery pack? Hopefully, it's active liquid cooling versus passive cooling, like what the Nissan Leaf still has. Active cooling definitely counteracts the degradation of the battery, and especially when you're doing DC fast charging. Let's see here. Mustang Mach-E 6 models. I don't know. From what I've seen, it has 5. So they could certainly introduce some other ones. Will you do a live Q&A like this pre-Cybertruck? That one's going to be really tough. I'm probably going to show up pretty early and try and get at the front of the line to get in and front and center stage. So I might do that. I might do that maybe as I'm standing in line. There's going to be a lot of who's who of the Tesla community there, so I'm super excited about that. Do you think Model S Plaid specs will be released with Cybertruck? Elon has said that they're a year out from releasing the vehicle or selling the vehicle. How long will I be in LA? A very, very short amount of time. I come out on Wednesday and I leave Thursday night. Hey Mark, thanks for the kind words. Hope the YouTube channel is going well. Let's see, we got 5 minutes here. Any other questions that I haven't caught? What do you think about the teal? Not sure what that is. What do you think about the reliability will be of the Mach-E? Well, it should be. Traditional OEMs do not have a problem with manufacturing vehicles. They've been doing it for a long time. It's one of the things that I think they've got an upper hand on with over Tesla. In terms of battery pack, and it's something new. It's a brand new powertrain, so there could be some issues there. I know that the e-tron has seen some recalls with the battery pack. It's a new powertrain, so I think we'll just have to wait and see. No invite to drive the Mach-E yet. No, I was really sort of putting my bets on getting an invite to the Tesla truck event, and it didn't make sense for me to fly to LA today, attend that, and then fly back to Denver, and then fly back again on Wednesday. And it didn't make sense for me to be in LA the entire week. I think many of you know this is not my full-time job. I have other responsibilities. There was something I was going to mention about the so the Mach-E. So I will do a recap video. I want to do sort of like a first impressions video. probably tonight, as long as I'm feeling awake and not drowsy or tired. And then I hope that Ford will have the Mach-E on display at the LA Auto Show. I will be at the LA Auto Show on Wednesday and part of Thursday. So I'm hoping to get some close-up pictures of the Mach-E and maybe an interview with a representative from Ford. So hopefully I can get some additional content. I am super excited about this. If the range comes in at 300 miles for a CUV, I think it's going to be a strong consideration for a lot of people. Tesla does a lot of things right. There's also some opportunities for them to do things better. Not the purpose of this video, but some people who've been Ford owners for generations in their family may want to stick with a Ford, and that's okay, in my opinion. All right, I'm going to go ahead and log off here. Will the live stream be on Ford's Twitter? I believe so. So make sure and go to Ford's Twitter and double check. I did see a little highlight at the top of my Twitter feed. So yes, I think so. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Really appreciate it. We're at 21 minutes now. Appreciate everyone's attention. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I talk about electric vehicles, renewable energies, and battery storage. So that's what the entire channel is about. Appreciate everyone's attention and have an awesome evening.